Hi everyone, welcome back to Clockin Talks. And today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Stone. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot for coming too. So let's quickly start and tell us about you. We are a little bit of curious, like what's your background, what's your story? Tell us about that.
Well, I am in New Zealand. I grew up in the South Island of New Zealand, quite a rural community. Had quite a bit of trauma and grief in my early life, so had a bit of lived experience, of course, which left me with a passion for helping other children and young people. And that sort of always influenced me as I studied. And my first career was in academia. I actually thought I was going to be an academic, sociologist, studying the political economy of information and the gender politics, the cultural politics of socializing children, boys into girls, no, boys into men and girls into women. So that was my sort of field of study. But the Twin Towers came down when I was studying in New York. And so I came back to New Zealand. It became after the Twin Towers came down, it became quite a hostile academic environment for people in the cultural political space looking at inequalities and things like that. There was very much a will to just go to war at that moment in the
Yeah.
United States. So we came back to New Zealand at that moment. And after a brief stint sort of pursuing my academic career, I ended up getting into advocacy, leadership advocacy here. And I thought to myself, what could I do for children with all my nous as an advocate? I've got to take down at least one multinational, multi-million dollar corporation that's addicting children to something, right? So I became executive director of the Smoke Free Coalition and had a successful 6 years there advocating children's rights and trying to stop the uptake of smoking among kids in New Zealand. Moved on into a public health career. But at that stage, I had started mentoring young people in advocacy and leadership in the tobacco control space, and it was so much fun. Public health leadership got me out of that because COVID-19 hit. But it did keep me mentoring. It's always just been, coaching and mentoring has always just been my side hustle, I guess. Through my career, where I've always just been tapped by emerging leaders and said, hey, I'm looking for some mentoring and I've heard you're good. Can you help me? So I've always sort of looked for young and emerging leaders to advocate a public health issue and mentored and supported them to advocate well. And then I've always been sort of tapped on the shoulder to one-on-one mentor a few emerging leaders in the field as well. And that just got me thinking, this could, why don't I turn this side hustle into my business? Because this is what I actually love. While my career is getting me further and further away from children and young people and talking too long and too much about boring stuff with adults in governance levels of an organization. Whereas what I really like is what I'm doing on the side when I'm meeting up with these one-on-one clients or peer groups. And then I joined the Tick for Kids Coalition, which is this great coalition that pricks up at every national election time to raise children's issues so that voters might be supported and informed. And I came up with this idea, let's get a focus group of young first voters and children and their younger brothers and sisters into a focus group and let them co-design the event with us, the political event that we hold with the candidates. And that was really good fun to do. I did that with a major leader in the field, Jackie Southey, here in New Zealand. You should get her on if she ever becomes a coach. Oh, look, the sun's rising here. I've got to keep on leaning over to one side.
Yeah,
Is that better?
yeah, it's okay.
Um, yeah, so yeah, once I really sort of started campaigning with young people and saw their leadership potential in advocacy leadership, I thought, right, this is where I want a niche. This is where I want to. This is where I can really make a difference. So that's where I've been trying to coach inside my niche. However, it's not really working because I still have those huge networks. And so while I'm growing my business in that niche, um, I'm also taking on clients everywhere else
Yeah,
because I just have to, you see.
yeah. So basically, your main business and your main base niche is to mentoring children and young population to quit smoking, right? That's the main niche.
No, no,
Oh,
not just
my
quit
bad.
smoking, not just quit smoking anymore. I moved right. I mean, I'm still involved in the tobacco control. Um, like for instance, I chair a public health infrastructure panel for the Health Coalition Aotearoa, and
Oh,
they also have another panel. Excuse me. They also have another panel for tobacco control. So I network still heavily with the tobacco control um, advocates. But my field is much more to do with just all children's issues, their mental health, their education, um, they're living in children living inside poverty because there's a huge population, quite a huge proportion of New Zealand children live in poverty, which is alarming. So there's a range of children's issues, of
yeah,
course, and also there's a range of issues facing children, and of course they're going through so much change. They're like little spaceships burst out into life. And so they're always going through new phases of growth and development. And at any stage, they might need some coaching and support, just handling those changes as well before they become traumatic, especially if they discover they're not heterosexual
yeah,
or neurodivergent. And that's what I discovered when I was a kid. So I've got that lived experience that can really support those children too.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'm just sort of targeting myself towards all the children and young people in my community who need to deal with change or need change simplified for them or wish to change the world and have some great ideas.
yeah,
You know what, I find children and young people, the more I hang out with children and young people as well as adults, it's the children and young people that have the best ideas.
yeah. That I think we all can agree. And one thing, like I want to really appreciate you. Like I researched many coaches when I was looking for a guest for our podcast. So one thing that click out was you are doing a really great job. Like most of the coaches are there to just make money, but you are just
How am I
sticking
doing a
to
great job? Tell me. I have
wow.
no idea how I'm doing a great job.
No, like you are specifically working for the young people, which I don't see usually. So that was the major one thing I really want to bring your story out so that people can see that. And yeah, it's really, inspiring to other coaches too who are, willing to start that you should rather pick a problem rather than just there to make money. You should try to solve that problem, get deeper into that problem. Yeah. So tell us a little bit. So how long are you into this coaching?
Well, I've just got serious about it from October last year, like
Okay.
left my salaried work to pursue it seriously as my sort of leaving it, transitioning from a side hustle to the 9 to 5, as
Yeah.
you'd put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have been your experience till now in this space, and did you enjoy?
Terrifying.
Okay.
It's terrifying, isn't it? But when you're a specialist in change, you've got to be able to handle it yourself, don't you? You've got to be able to be an exemplar of handling transition and change yourself. So, and I think I have been. Like I'm just sort of rolling with the punches of moments where there's no clients, there's no next client, or the anxiety that I'm taking on clients that aren't children and young people just to pay the bills, is this going to hurt my niche? All that sort of juggling. But I was really, really prudent with my preparation, and I was very privileged to have a salaried role and this as a side hustle for so long, because it really enabled me to get prepared before I branched out. And so what did I do? I went and got myself accredited as a coach, because I'd never bothered to do that. I'd always just been doing it, right?
What did you do?
So I got accredited as a life coach,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
because it was one thing I'd just never
Yeah.
done yet. I had been coaching people and mentoring people, but I hadn't actually got myself
Yeah.
a proven qual mark, to
Yeah.
go
To
anywhere.
build the
So that's
authority. Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I did. I spent 3 months at Anne's Cow taking a intensive course, and then and reading all their stuff on their website and hooking and getting myself accredited. So that was a process in 2024.
Yeah.
And then in 2025, just last year, I graduated with a diploma in business project management. And that was luckily offered, it's offered every New Zealander here for free from an institute called Te Wānanga or Aotearoa. If you can find yourself a free business training course that's like intensive, part-time for, 6 to 8 months, it just really helps with all the business understanding, all the business and how to and it really helps with your credibility too, I think, to be seen, to know how to handle your business while you're also your intellectual property or your asset. I think for a lot of people who carry their own knowledge capital but then have to be the marketer of it and the business manager and owner of it at the same time, it can get really stressful having all those hats in the business, right? So I really recommend getting some sort of crash course in business management so that you just know what there is involved in handling a business, the taxes, the marketing, the administration, the getting yourself registered with this and that and all
There
of
are a
all of
lot
that,
of things. Yeah.
and having someone to coach you through that through a crash course was very handy for me. It gave me a lot more confidence in branching out when I finally did.
Yeah. I think for every coach or every founder who is getting started any business, it's very important to have a person or like have a coach or mentorship so that they can get through that path really well. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So when you started coaching, like how did you get your early clients and how was your experience working with them?
Well, I did it. I took an approach of networking. What I thought, because when I really soul searched about the coaching relationship with a child or young person, or all these ones that I've had in the past, they always must and inevitably will turn into a lifelong relationship for them. They will transition into adulthood. They will come back to me at various stages throughout life. So I've really relied on networking with them themselves and asking them for Google reviews, telling them that I've got into business. Do they know of people who need
Like, how did
coaching?
you network with them? Did you use any social platform, or like how did you network with the young adults and individuals?
Well, mostly through the relationship I've maintained with them, and it could be on any platform, but usually a social platform. Like
Okay.
usually it's Facebook that, I've always sort of kept friends with all of them.
Yeah.
Um, so I just sent them a friendly message. Hey, um, did you want to give me a Google review, please?
Yeah.
And all of them have given me 5 stars. It's just, I mean, it's just so nice to have
Yeah.
young people who I mean, it's got to be the greatest satisfaction of my career is just having helped a load of young people really sort of take charge of their life and have their first moment, maybe directly speaking to a decision maker like the minister
Yeah.
of this, or the Labour Party spokesperson for that. Those moments they'll never forget. Like my own daughter had the courage to write a speech, and in one march, which was anti-sexual violence, and it was youth led, high school led in Wellington. She was one of the young women who stood on the steps of Parliament and made her first parliamentary speech. I was
Oh,
so proud.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
I'm
great.
looking for young leaders who want to make speeches and be the influencers in some sort of tremendous way to save our world.
Yeah, that's really great. So,
So the networking is just the way I've relied on it, I guess, and especially because I've just moved from Wellington back into my home community, so it's quite grounded for me as well. It's quite a grounding exercise for me to be here as I go through this change in my career, and so I'm stepping out and meeting the community services for children and young people. And I'm learning what's free and available in terms of social work and counselling for children and young people here. There isn't much in rural New Zealand. It makes me worry across the country because I've always got that national mind, that national thought, um, scope of thought. But at the same time, I really love the idea of just getting one-on-one with some North Canterbury children and young people. And of course, it's an election year this year for New Zealand. So Tick for Kids is kick-started again in 2026. And
okay.
so I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool, instead of having a Wellington event, or I mean, Tick for Kids could have a Wellington event still, but why not a rural event this year as well with some rural kids and young people?
Yeah.
And maybe that might be something I rally through a holiday care program, I was thinking. So, all sorts of ways I might network and find the kids, and then they might see me as a potential coach and themselves as my client. But in I'm just having a lot of fun networking. And of course, through my networking, because it's another one of my great skills, you see.
Yeah.
um, Other clients have come to me. So I've got other business ventures and fundraising ventures and community ventures I'm scoping out and working on as well, while I keep my focus on finding my niche and getting my niche.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
it.
So I'm not quite there. I'm not quite a success story yet.
But you are like, it's a really interesting and a really inspiring story. Like for every coach out there, like you are really helping and giving something out to the society, and you are really doing a great job. So,
Oh, thank you. That's nice to hear.
like we are at the end of the podcast, so I want you to give some advice for both, firstly, the young adults and young people, and secondly, the coaches and consultants who are getting started. In short, how should
Yeah.
they pursue?
How many minutes have I got? It's my most key advice for other coaches is to start with their values base, and always try to find clients who are aligned with your values. So, and I have my values up on my whiteboard at all times. So I've got leadership, hope, because I really, that suicide rate amongst youth in New Zealand is just always in the back of my mind. So hope, simplicity, transformation, manaakitanga, that means hospitality or being welcoming. That's a leadership value, a Maori leadership value in New Zealand. So those are my values for my business. And I always share them with my clients in the first free half hour. And I think that's always made me feel just so much more passionate about my clients, is knowing that we're values based and aligned in our values. So that would be my one key advice to coaches starting out. Is that
And
enough?
for young people, like the problems they are dealing with nowadays.
Got it. Well, I mean, I want to talk directly to the young people who are thinking without hope anymore. They've come from a traumatic space, or they've lost people, key people in their lives, and they don't know how they're going to exist without them. I've been there, and I have really felt lonely in that time, and I know exactly what it's like to be traumatized through those times. And I just want to let you know that out on the other side, you can become a leader and you can influence others, and it's powerful. So get through, have hope, get a plan together, think about your vision, and call me. I'll coach you through.
Yeah. So tell us, where can people find you? I'll put all the links and all in the description too.
Sure. Okay. So I've got a little blog site that I've always kept, and I just keep on monitoring. It's called medusaenterprises.org. So they can find me there, see if they like me. Otherwise, I'm on LinkedIn. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn, Dr. Prudence Stone, I guess, and same on Facebook.
And do you have a website where can people book a meeting for?
That's well, it's the blog site,
Okay, okay. All
medusaenterprises.org.
right, all right.
And there's no booking platform. I'm useless like that. I'm not very tech based. You won't get any AI with me. I'm keeping all my intelligence for myself. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah, so call me or email me once you've found those
yeah,
deets on my blog site,
yeah,
or just through my DMs on LinkedIn or Facebook.
yeah.
Oh, and I don't
No,
use Facebook. God, I'm inundated on Facebook. I'd prefer it on LinkedIn, or
all right.
through my deets on the blog site.
Yeah. No worries. I'll put all the links in the descriptions below. So,
Cool.
yeah, this was all. Thanks for coming. And it was really an interesting podcast doing with you. We really got great insights for both young individuals who are facing issues and for coaches too. So, yeah, thanks for coming. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you so much, Tanmay, for giving me this opportunity. It's been really cool to talk about myself. I don't do it enough, I guess.
Yeah,
It was really nice.
yeah,
Nice to hear your such positive feedback. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
That's the main reason I started this, because I really wanted coaches to speak out and, share their stories out loud. So, yeah.
Yeah.